Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, coming today, you're very, very welcome. I trust everyone's well and you enjoyed my last video on master songwriter Jim Steinman. And the world changed in 1977 with Bad Outta Hell, estimated to sold around 40 million copies with Meatloaf, and he has certainly written songs for many, many, many people after that. It was great to reflect on him last time, and the fact that him at Rock and Roll Dreams did come through absolutely, and we looked at that for our own lives. We're going from there to 1956 in Glasgow. This guy was one of five. Now, when it comes to Australian music, this guy is right undisputed in the top 2-3 artists in the country of all time. This guy is very, very significant. This guy is considered Australian rock and roll royalty. He has got rock and roll pumping through his veins, this guy. The family, though, Glasgow wasn't a particularly nice place. Reading his book, Working Class Boy, and that's given it away who it is, it wasn't such a good life. There was drinking, there was fighting. Glasgow was very, very rough back in those days. And so the family said, well, what are we going to do? Let's move to Australia. In fact, Adelaide. Yeah, go Adelaide. Elizabeth in 1962. And Jimmy Barnes was the age of 5 at that point. Now, Jimmy, as we know, went on to form the iconic Cold Chisel, but we'll get onto them in just a minute. Jimmy started actually working for the SA Railways, doing a bit of work with them, but, music was his first love, really. His brother John, who's known as Swanee, was well and truly getting to band at this point, and Jimmy just had to do the same thing. Starting off with a band called Fraternity. Now, interestingly, this band had just said goodbye to Bon Scott. Now, Bon Scott is AC/DC music royalty, and he obviously went on to form with the Young Brothers AC/DC. But it was around 1974 that the world changed for Jimmy, and actually for Adelaide music and Australian music in general, when the guys of Cold Chisel got together. They were originally called Orange. Things were a little bit slow at the start, and Jimmy nearly left the band. That was a particular farewell performance that happened. It went so well, Jimmy actually stayed. And in 1977, Cold Chisel was signed to WEA Records, and the world, Australian music, changed at that point. Cold Chisel were absolutely huge. Between 1978 and 1984, they were only around for 6 years, 5 studio albums. But each of those albums is classed as an Australian classic. They had a bit of a break. There was the last farewell tour, but they did get a bit of a reformation in 1998, and they've actually had 4 studio albums between 1998 and 2019. So actually seen them since they've reunited. Very, very good and tight indeed. But it was around 1983, and now I've already looked at Cold Chisel. So if you want to go to my playlist and look under C, you'll see them there. But 1983, Jimmy thought, well, hey, actually, I've got a bit of a singing voice, and we know how good this guy's singing voice is. I'm going to put this guy in a distinctive category because there is no one even remotely close to the power, the passion, and the pure grunt of this guy's voice. He is very, very powerful indeed. And truth be known, Cold Chisel was a little bit laid back for Jimmy, really. He needed to rock a little bit more, and he well and truly did that in 1983 with the album Body Swerve. Now, the rumour mill was running hot around Jimmy Barnes and the side of Korea, and Australia was just waiting to purchase this album because it went to number 1. And I still remember Jimmy's, I suppose, debut solo song, No Second Prize. Absolutely stunning song, absolutely. And I think this song typifies where Jimmy was going to be going. He didn't want to settle for second best. He wanted to be the best. And so we've got a version of that one below. Then we get to 1985. Now, what a big year for music this was. So many albums got released in this year worldwide, well, in Australia, no exception. for the Working Class Man got released. This changed Australian music forever, this album. And his signature tune, Working Class Man, interestingly written by Journey keyboardist Jonathan Cain all the way over in the US, became Jimmy Barnes' signature tune. This particular single stayed in the charts for 14 weeks. We got an official clip with Big Fire in the background. It's a pretty amazing official clip, that one. We've also got a live version as well. Interesting to note, I saw Jimmy Barnes a little while ago when he was talking about his song Working Class Man, and he did a bit of a more laid back version of it, and it actually is pretty good. And because the lyrics are pretty good. It's all about a guy working hard to make a living, just doing all the honest stuff that you do. And the video clip certainly goes through a few working class scenarios, from people working in mines to people working in the sugarcane fields. There's really much to tip your hat to what Australians, in fact people all around the world, do every day, and they're there as they go to work. Now Jimmy is well and truly from working class. Elizabeth is working class, Glasgow working class, so you know exactly what working class absolutely meant. And you know, we do strive for, you know, university degrees and all the rest of it, but you know what? There is definitely a place, more than a place, you know, for working class people. These are the people that keep the country running. If it wasn't for working class, we wouldn't have a country. We're talking about the truck drivers. We're talking about the people in shops. We're talking about people who work in factories. All of these jobs that, you know, we would not have an economy if it wasn't for working class people. And so how often do we sort of look at people based on what they do, or how much they earn and all that sort of stuff? Well, what Jimmy Barnes has actually done with this song is he says, I don't care how much you earn. I care more about the strength of your character, the more about your ability to work hard, your ability just to pitch in there and do your bit, which is what Australia is actually famous for. It is for people pitching in and helping each other. And I think this song was absolutely perfect, really, for the time, and that was paying tribute to our working class. Working class really doesn't quite cut it, really. Working class, I think we're all workers, aren't we? We're all required to work, whether we're the CEO of a company, whether we're the cleaner of a company. If we don't have cleaners, as we discovered in COVID, everything just falls apart. If we don't have people who work in pharmacies dishing out drugs to people who are sick, we don't have doctors, we don't have teachers, we don't have nurses, we don't have factory workers, we don't have people who pick up our rubbish. Imagine what the world would be like if we didn't have people picking up our rubbish. Do we ever spare a thought for the amount of work and effort that those guys go to keep our streets clean? I do remember in Hong Kong, I went to over there, and there was a bit of a market in Mongkok. You know, it would be pretty alive at night, and in the morning there'd be nothing there. No rubbish, no nothing. People work hard, and to quote one of the lines of the songs, working hard to make a living. Absolutely. We love people who work hard, and there's nothing wrong with the working class. They keep our country going. And so Jimmy Barnes well and truly paid tribute to the working class in this particular song that would become his signature tune, stayed in the charts for 14 weeks. 1987, out came Freight Train Heart, and this album again went to number one. In fact, when I went to his Working Class Man concert, he talked about how many albums of his have actually gone to number one. Australia's been very kind to Jimmy Barnes. Too much ain't about enough love to satisfy me, so just bring it on, girl. You can just lay it on me. You just give me, there's not too much love to satisfy me. Just bring it all. I want everything. I want to spend all this time with you. I want to give back to you as well. So we've got an official clip of that one. A little bit more classy, I think. Let's just put the word classy in there. Nice guitar work happening in this one. And we've got the official clip of that one. 1990, Two Fires. And Lay Down Your Guns. We actually found an official clip of it, but this one is pretty almost progressive rock, this song, in many ways. So about Lay Down Your Guns, I Surrender. Let's just try and get on the same page here. And so we've got a live clip, I think it is, of Lay Down Your Guns. 1991, Jimmy thought he'd shake things up a little bit and went into soul, and we got the song Your Love Has Lifted Me Higher and Higher, a very, very special song for me, this version in particular. I remember playing this one in a band, and it's such a good fun one to play. So we've got a live version of Higher and Higher. It was around that time also that Australian Made was doing a bit of a thing in the United States. And Jimmy was at the head of that with In Excess, and the song Good Times. These guys absolutely rocked the stage with this classic song. Very much part of Australians' psyche. We actually found a version though with Bon Jovi in 2001. So got a live version of that one. I thought I'd put that one up instead. If you go back to In Excess, you'll actually see their version there. So Bon Jovi and Jimmy Barnes in Australia, how cool is that? So between 1984 and 2022, there's been 22 releases. 15 of those have got to number 1. So Jimmy has the Australian record for the most #1 albums in Australia. And so he's absolutely well loved by Australians, not just Australia, but worldwide. Whenever he does a release, it's a significant event, absolutely. In 1998, Cold Chisel actually reformed, and they've been doing a bit of live touring ever since that. I mean, bands such as iconic as Cold Chisel, I mean, they only had 5 studio albums when they were around, and so there was more work to do. There was more music to be had, and some of their current stuff is pretty good as well. And so it's good to see Cold Chisel come back, and I've absolutely seen these guys, pretty amazing type band. They deserve the accolade as one of the best bands in Australia of all time. And so good to see Jimmy. Cold Chisel is not Cold Chisel without Jimmy Barnes. But he has had a pretty amazing solo career. 22 releases is a lot of output, absolutely. It was nice to see in 2017 he received an OAM Order of Australia medal. So it was really great to see him get acknowledged, not just for his significance to music, but also is significant to people living with disability. He has a bit of a gentle heart about him as well. He does care for people genuinely. When you hear him talk, he does have that way about him that just endears you to him. He is a well-loved musician in Australia. He has a very distinctive, powerful voice. He's known as Barnesy by Australians. And he's an absolutely well-loved character here, absolutely. So it's good to pay tribute to him today. So the links to those 8 clips are in the description below. And I've also included my last video on Jim Steinman. Not much of a link between those two, really. I'm sure Jim Steinman could have written a really good song for Jimmy Barnes as well, but those two never really quite crossed paths, really. But it's good to see Jimmy link up with Journey and Jonathan Cain to write the signature tune, Working Class Man. Don't we love that song? Absolutely. So, yeah, all those links are below. Got a few today. So if this is your first time, the Life Reflections, your music, or you come back for another one, how great to see everybody here. Well, next time we're going to keep back in Australia and going to get on to Jimmy Little. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.